Because in the movies that are produced by the media, God's name is constantly taken in vain. Not only this, we do it also many times as Christians when we use slang words to describe Jesus or to describe God. We say, for example, G, which is short for Jesus. And we say gosh, and I say this reverently, to make a point. We say gosh, it's a slang word for God. The Jews did not even pronounce God's holy name because it was so magnificent. They actually only wrote it. They never even pronounced it with their lips because it was such a holy and reverent name. How many times don't we just basically repeat the name of God in our prayers, the name of God in our conversation, without taking into account the reverent and awesome and omnipotent meaning of that holy name of God? Do you know that fearing God will not only affect how we use His name, but fearing God will also affect how we worship Him, our style of worship? Notice 1 Chronicles chapter 16 and verses 29 and 30. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 and verses 29 and 30. Notice that we have several key words that are found in the first angel's message. In fact, all of the key commands in the first angel's message are in 1 Chronicles 16, 29, and 30. Notice. Give to the Lord what? The glory due His name. Do we find that in the first angel's message? Fear God and what? Give glory to Him. Okay, so it says, give the Lord the glory due His name. Bring an offering and come before Him. Oh, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Is that word worship in the first angel's message? Absolutely. And so it says, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. And then notice the idea of fearing God. Tremble. There it is. Tremble before Him, all the earth. The world also is firmly established. It shall not be moved. Oh, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Notice that we're supposed to worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. And then it says, tremble before Him, all the earth. Do you know how Israel worshiped God? Today, many Christian churches come to church to have a party. But do you know how Israel worshiped the Lord in biblical times? They came with humility. They were not haughty. In fact, the Bible says that when God's people encountered God, their immediate reaction was to bow their forehead to the ground in reverence towards God. I want you to notice what we find in 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 3, where it speaks about the inauguration of Solomon's temple, which is, by the way, misnamed. It's God's temple, and it was built by Solomon. 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 3. Notice that worshiping God involves humility. We cannot be haughty. In our worship style, we must be reverent, in other words. It says there in 2 Chronicles 7 verse 3, when all the children of Israel saw how the fire came down and the glory of the Lord on the temple, they bowed their faces to the ground on the pavement and worshiped and praised the Lord, saying, for He is good, for His mercy endures forever. Notice that they put their forehead to the ground and they bowed before the great God. Every great person in the Bible that encountered God was awed by His presence in the worship experience. In Isaiah chapter 6, Isaiah was permitted to see God's heavenly temple. And he heard the seraphim singing, and the posts of the temple were shaking, and the angels were singing, holy, holy, holy. And how did Isaiah feel? He says, oh, I am undone. For I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people with unclean lips.